With me, Hafiz Marzukhi. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim was given the honour to participate in a special dialogue session with World Economic Forum founder Professor Klaus Schwab in Davos. Many pertinent points were made concerning tech, trade and geopolitics. To find out more, we hear from our lead editor in Switzerland, Najib Aruf.
Thank you, studio. In World Economic Forum, the 2025, right here in Davos, Switzerland, there's a lot of topics being discussed. One of it being about sustainability and artificial intelligence, and also geopolitical tension that happening in the Middle East and also elsewhere. But also, the geostrategic is being discussed right here in the World Economic Forum. And I want to focus on the session between Prime Minister and also Professor Klaus Schwab just now, where one of the questions were raised to Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim on Malaysia's decision of joining BRICS. Now, this is very important and very interesting answer by Prime Minister, where he mentioned about why Malaysia joined BRICS as the partner country, where he mentioned about the Global South has to take a stand because the international financial infrastructure through IMF, for instance, is in dire needs of changing structural reform and everything else. And also, he mentioned about the United Nations also needs a reform, and at the same time he said that while we talk about democracy, but at the same time we also refuse to accept and acknowledge democratic principles and also democratic accountability. Let's listen to some of the snippets from the session.
With BRICS, yes, why not? I mean, the Global South have to take a stand because the international financial infrastructure through the IMF needs to reform. United Nations need to reform. We talk about democracy, but we refuse to accept democratic principles and democratic accountability. WTA need to make some adjustments. And that's all they were asking for. We're not going to war. We still work under the present mechanisms. So that's why, to me, BRICS is important. At least there's a mechanism we talk, not a zero-sum game. Malaysia is a trading nation. We survive, we manage as a trading nation.
As we all know, the World Economic Forum is almost Eurocentric. Most of the topics being discussed here are based on this, what's happening in Euro and also in the US. But at the same time, questions about ASEAN and also China are one of the main questions being asked to, especially to the delegates from Southeast Asia and ASEAN. And of course, Prime Minister in that particular session will ask about ASEAN's stance when it comes to China during the current situation, where Prime Minister mentioned about how ASEAN would like to keep the principle of centrality, and at the same time, ASEAN also engaging strongly with the United States as a traditional partner and trade partner, and also at the same time China is an important neighbor and trade partner as well. Let's listen to what Prime Minister has to say about this.
The ASEAN has this principle of centrality. We engage strongly with the United States traditionally, and we will continue to do so. China is an important neighbor. We do not have problems. Of course, people highlight the issue of South China Sea, the border. But may I remind you that Malaysia is a maritime country. We have excellent relations with Singapore. We still have border issues with them. We have excellent relations. I treat the Thais as my family members, the leaders. But still we have some border issues with them. So is with Indonesia, with the Philippines. We don't go to war. We don't threaten. We don't have... We do discuss, we get a little angry, but we do focus on the economic fundamentals and move on. And why is it that we must then single out China as an issue? I mean, that's my only contention. Do I have an issue about it? Yes. But do I have a problem? No. Do we have any undesired tensions? No.
That's very interesting session for this year because we bring the ASEAN narrative to the World Economic Forum, which we normally don't really see about ASEAN on the World Economic Forum, because what they see is the European Union normally. Do they understand about ASEAN and the narrative for ASEAN, and how do we collaborate and the stability that we have in ASEAN as our strength? And countries in ASEAN, the 10 member countries, and this is how they can emulate during the current situation with the geopolitical tension, also geostrategic that's happening around the world. That's all for now. All the reports you can watch and also read on astroawani.com.
Now, Astro AWANI is the first Malaysian news brand to penetrate Syria after the fall of Bashar al-Assad's regime. What is it like in Damascus today? What challenges lie ahead for the country in its post-war recovery? We will join Hilal Azmi, Astro AWANI's social media editor, who is currently on the ground with the Global Peace Mission Malaysia team to follow their Winter Aid mission.
Being in Syria now is an experience unlike any I had back in 2014. This time, arriving directly into Damascus by air felt like a great relief. In the past, we would have to enter through Turkey and then travel by land for hours just to reach the border. But now, here in Syria, the challenges are clear, and it's evident that much work remains for Syria to rebuild. Here are 3 key observations that highlight the hurdles Syria faces in its recovery. First, government restructuring. Upon arrival at Damascus International Airport, the immigration process was relatively simple but seemed like the country was still in the early stage of reopening. Officials were referring to the managers for basic queries. For example, they had to check online records to figure out how many days visa on arrival for Malaysian would last. Second, basic infrastructure remains critically lacking. Electricity in Damascus is only available for 2 hours a day, with people relying on generators or solar power systems to maintain a constant supply. During the cold winter season, heaters are especially essential, but for those who cannot afford them, it's a serious struggle. Third, global sanctions hamper economic recovery. With international sanctions still in place, Syria's economy remains constrained. Businesses operate mainly on cash transaction as there's no system in place for credit card payments or digital transactions. These challenges show how difficult Syria recovery will be, and the international community must pay attention. The Global Peace Mission team is also working to arrange meetings with government representatives to provide aid more effectively. This is just the beginning of the long road ahead for Syria. I'm Hilal Azmi, reporting from Damascus, Syria. We'll now return to Asia Broadcast Center in Bukit Jalil.
Now that wraps up this edition of AWANI Tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Hafiz Marzukhi. Good night.